get off.
Greetings viewers, and now that I'm here with another review for all of you. Many of you might wonder why I'm jumping straight over Seeing the Stars to season 2 of HB's third episode. Well, it's because I really didn't feel I had anything worth saying on that episode, and I feel people like Sarcastic Horse, Manga Common, and even Finn the Pony did a much better job. This episode though, I do feel I have a bit to say on. Also, I was sick when I originally scripted this, so let's see how my observations hold up when my brain was feeling totally spaghettified, shall we? We start with another Moxie is fat joke.
It's not funny! It's never been funny! It's never gonna be funny!
I could go on a word about how it feels like Viv is using Luna to attack heavy people, but I'm sure people who dislike Miss Madrano have already done that. My point is, drop the joke, it sucks, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person who feels that way. Enter Millie, who's close to a feral mode, due to running into an ex of hers. While this is going on, Blitz is on the phone with a client who doesn't want them to go to Earth.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You don't want us going to Earth at all for this job.
Correct. That will not be necessary. I'd like to meet you and your whole crew at my estate.
You want us killing someone in hell? Cause I gotta tell you, that ain't exactly our business no more.
This is implying they did until Blitz got the idea to steal the grimoire from Stolas. When arrival of a helicopter... helicopter. Oh god, did I just make a dad joke? Oh well. And the destruction of the building's wall later, and we're taken to the Greed Ring, and it looks like the kind of shithole you'd expect a fictional city in hell to look like. We also learned this is where Moxie grew up, leading some people to believe that this was a form of discontinuity in relation to season 1's 5th episode, where Moxie said he was born in Wrath. However, just because Moxie was born in Wrath, it doesn't mean his family couldn't have moved to the Greed Ring. Moxie isn't glad to be back in this part of Greed, especially when it dawns on him that they're heading to the house where he grew up, meaning Blitz's client is a member of Moxie's family.
There he is! There's my boy. Get over here and give your daddy a hug.
Daddy?
I only let Moxie call me that. Unless you pay me.
You know, a lot of people, myself included, assumed that Blitz's client was going to be Moxie's brother, as to why Richard Horvitz was also voicing this character. I mean, let's be fair, Richard really can't make his characters sound all that different from each other.
Ow! Strike one, little man.
But I hit it.
I don't know what to tell you, buddy. The target, see? It didn't go down.
But no, this is Crimson, Moxie's mafioso father.
What are we doing here, sir?
If you've been following the series, you know that Moxie calls whoever he feels has most authority sir, and while that's normally Blitzo, it's not the case here. It's his father. Also observe the look in his eyes when he says it. Yeah, Moxie really isn't happy to be back here. His discovery is made worse by the arrival of someone he and Millie both know from their past.
What is up, party people? Chaz? Wait! What? You know him?
You remember that ex I was talking about?
Looks like I have 2 big sex reunions today. How lucky am I?
Did you date him too?
Chad and Moxie both met each other when Moxie was inducted into the family, and both characters became immediately attracted to each other. However, when Moxie was caught during a heist, Chad simply left Moxie to be caught and taken to prison. The only good thing to come out of that was that that's how Moxie met Blitz. No, I don't consider this a retcon. Why do you ask? At dinner, Crimson reveals he contacted IMP, knowing that was the only way his son would show up. Miles used to transfer his share of the organization's profits over to Chad so the shark can be inducted into the family, and Crimson suggests MIP spend the night until the ceremony tomorrow. Unfortunately, when everyone other than Moxie leaves the dining table, Grim reveals his true goal. The reason Grim wants Moxie here is because Chad supposedly came into millions recently, which Grim desperately wants due to the family hurting for money, but the only way Crimson will have access to said money is if he marries a member of the family off to Chad. Grim isn't giving Moxie a choice in the matter, and Moxie, remembering how terrifying his childhood was, can do nothing but timidly leave the room. Unable to tell Millie anything, and forced to sleep in different rooms under his father's orders, Moxie's already bad night is made even worse when Chad tries to seduce him in song form. It's cringy, and I'm totally sure that was intentional.
Moxie? won't.
Damn it. This usually works.
Not one to give up when there's a libido to be satiated. Chad moves on to Blitz, and one really unsatisfying session later, Blitz goes snooping around to see what the shark is up to, discovering while running around in Chaz's car that he isn't actually rich. But before he can actually do anything with that information, Chaz locks him in his trunk. The next morning, when everyone comes down to the dining room, Chaz gets ready to leave the room looking for Blitz, leaving Moxie alone with him and his father, and we get this scene.
I'm not doing it. What was that? I couldn't make it out over the sound of you being a whiny bitch. I said I'm not doing it, sir. I've spent my whole life being afraid of you, but I'm not giving up the only good thing I've ever had just so you can keep your fragile little sense of control over everything. Millie is a good woman. A better woman than I deserve. And there's nothing that scares me more than hurting her. Not even you. I'm leaving, Dad. And if you or Herpes the Clown over here try to stop me, you'll learn firsthand just how good I've gotten at my job. Now take care of the others.
I can see people arguing that this robbed Moxie of his badass moment, like he was in the Harvest Moon Festival episode, but I also like to call those people dumb. Stryker escaping because Luna hit Moxie in the face with a door when she kicked it open was pretty much due to timing constraints, and the writers just not able to come up with a different way for Stryker to escape. Here, as much as you could argue that Moxie should have seen Al coming up behind him, I'd counter that Moxie was too focused on his father to notice, and Moxie being tased isn't at all played up for comedy. Unfortunately for Krim, Millie isn't as easy to take out as he assumes. While Millie finds Blitz and he tells her what's going on, Krim is forcing Moxie into the wedding and locks down the entire estate, so there's only one thing to do: pull a Shrek.
I object!
You want my husband? You're gonna have to fucking kill me.
As awesome as Millie's rampage is, I can't be the only one to be sad seeing such a cast of henchmen be killed off. I mean, we got some clear hybrids going on like Butch and Stu here. Almost all of his henchmen other than Al be slaughtered by Millie, Krim simply gives up Moxie, and his already bad mood is made worse when Blitz tells him he's been tricked by Chaz. No surprise what happens to the sex pest shark, I assume. This is the first episode of Season 2 I have genuinely liked. The main problem people had with the second episode is that the folks just seem to jump around from Octavia wandering around LA, Moxie's new obsession with street performers, and Blitz now being mistaken for a sitcom star and forced to perform in front of a live studio audience. In this episode, however, the focus is completely on point. It never shifts from character to character in a way that feels jarring, and each character feature serves a purpose. The interaction between Moxie and Millie is that is most beautiful here. Millie's outrage upon hearing how Chaz betrayed Moxie shows how defensive she is of her man, and Millie plowing through Crimson's henchmen is just enormous fun to watch. The reveal that Moxie and Blitz could be seen as dumb, but others have chosen to see it as Moxie forming a friendship outside his father's influence. Blitz immediately takes a liking to Moxie, compliments him and hopes he can help him escape prison, and I'm assuming when Moxie hears Blitz talking lovingly of his daughter Luna, he sees in Blitz everything he didn't see in his father. While they originally get on each other's nerves, it's a friendship that Moxie only half regrets. On his half, Blitz suspects something is up with Chaz, goes snooping around for dirt, and literally crashes a wedding, all for the sake of protecting those he considers his friends. Well, okay, he also has his own selfish reasons for getting involved, but it's also to protect the marriage of the people he cares about. Unlike the second episode of Season 2, where it felt like every main character we had to be involved, Moxie and Blitz serve their purpose, and not a single scene feels like it's simply there to pad out the runtime. The main focus is on Moxie, and it goes to show just how miserable his childhood truly was. For the most part, he was attached to his mother, who did her absolute best to shield him from the world his father tried to bring him into, and as a result is pretty much confirmed that Crimson either killed his wife himself or had one of his goons do it, but either way, she is very much dead. A lot of people assume that Moxie himself killed his own mother in a flashback, but there are plenty of videos out there debunking this. When reunited with Krim again, Moxie is absolutely terrified because he knows just how dangerous Krim can be, and that no threat that passes through Crimson's lips is an empty one. It's only when Moxie is all by himself that he has time to think about what he's going to do, and ultimately stands up to his father. It doesn't work out for him, but this is undeniably the best moment Moxie's had in the series thus far. This season so far seems to have a fascination with fathers. Did anyone else notice that? Paimon is quite possibly the most beloved out of the three, and while he's abusive towards little baby Stolas, and has zero interest in interacting with his son in his adulthood, I feel Jonathan Freeman's delivery just endeared people to the character.
How about you cease this bitch crying?
Richard Horvitz is one of the voice actors from my childhood, and the only villainous role he had I can remember is Invader Zim. While Zim's a comedic parody of alien invaders, whose ingenuity is only rivaled by his narcissism-fueled issue, though, Krim is played completely straight as a villain. The only bit of levity we get with Krim, and not to your mileage may vary, is when he shows his complete ignorance towards bisexuality, deeming it as just another word for being gay. If you thought Big Jack Horner was a bad villain, you're not gonna like Krim. But if you're a cool person like me, who likes seeing villains do bad things for the sake of it or for personal gain, you're gonna love him. Krim has absolutely no interest in his son and sees him rather as a means to an end. While piling on cash used manipulation to get their sons to do what they want, however, Krim simply gives Moxie an ultimatum. Do what I say or die. Moxie isn't so much Crimson's son as he is another expendable mook to be put down should he ever become a liability to the man. As good of a villain as I think he is, though, it is strange that with all the research he did into IMP, he didn't put the same amount of effort into checking whether or not Chaz was lying about having become a millionaire, although you can assume that his desperation for money was the main reason for that. Ugh. Chaz. Yeah, apart from the design, I do not care for this shark boy. Chaz is an egotistical twit, considered obnoxious by everyone he interacts with, and was somehow too dumb to realize that lying to a mob boss that being a millionaire would turn out badly for him. I've heard some people compare him to Stryker, and I'm gonna tell you that is an insult to Stryker. The cowboy assassin was charismatic enough to charm everyone around him other than Moxie, whereas Chaz is just a dumbass, who I feel just tries to convince himself that he has a PhD as a means to compensate for how his life's going completely nowhere. So what else is there to fight?
Unacceptable!
Oh yeah, YouTube's new policy about inappropriate language. From what I heard, any use of coarse language would affect a video's monetization. That includes all previous videos too, by the way. Granted, they're not treating hell or damn as profanity anymore, so you can use those two damn words all the hell you want. Now I sort of wondered how this new policy would affect the series, and it turns out not at all. Nah, they still drop the F word as much as they want. Right? The other show really don't give a shit. And neither do I, but then again, I don't get paid for these videos, so I'll use all the naughty words I want. Also, our new CEO is an NFT bro, so who cares what he has to say about profanity? But yeah, not that much more I can think to talk about in this video. The final observation I have to make is one I haven't seen anyone else comment on, and that's the fact that Moxie apparently inherited his mother's freckles. So I've heard for the longest time that these white markings on imps are meant to be scars, but seeing that Moxie's mother has 3 little freckles on both her cheeks, like her son, has caused me to call that into question now. So are the white markings on imps scars or aren't they? These are the questions, people. Overall, a pretty good episode, and I hope what worked here, like the pacing and focus, shows up in future ones. This is Night at Eyes saying thanks for letting me share my thoughts. Please share yours with me.
And I don't want to talk about holes when I'm around you, Chad. You know, it was just an experimental time in college, Chad. We were just having a bromance and you made it all weird, Chad. You make me feel things that I don't want to feel. You make me think about times that I don't want to think about anymore.